Welcome to the Wrestling Replay. It's CATO here with the WWE Monday Night Raw replay of the week. Now we have finally got the weekend over and the dreadful Monday blues has come around. But we do have Monday Night Raw and you get to sit here with me at the Wrestling Replay. So let's go ahead and dive into this episode and see what's actually going on. Now for me, this was a pretty, it was an okay episode. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad. It was kind of like a mix. For me, I got storyline advancement, and I love getting storyline advancement. But on the other hand, it was kind of a slow Raw to me. It was pretty slow, but we also didn't get the same repetitive matchups. We got some new matchups this week, and I'm excited to actually jump into that. So let's start off with Monday Night Raw, kicking off the show with a tag team battle royal. Now, we had 6 tag teams enter this tag team match to see who would be facing that Raw Tag Team Champions, to see who would go on to face the Raw Tag Team Champions, AJ Styles and Omos. We had the team of RK Bro, The New Day, Viking Raiders, Miz and Morrison, Lucha House Party, and Mace and T-Bar. Alright, now right off the bat, to me, I'm thinking Mace and T-Bar or the Viking Raiders have the advantage. These are 2 big tag teams. Well, 2 of the bigger tag teams, I would say, inside the ring. But it actually came down to the Viking Raiders. They pretty much dominated inside of this Battle Royal match. I was a little bit shocked because I was expecting a team like RK Bro to actually go on and face AJ Styles and Omos for those tag team championships. So what that says to me is that AJ and Omos will probably hang on to these titles just a little bit longer. I feel like a team like the Viking Raiders was always booked to be in some type of tag team title match, but of course the injury bug hit them, so they've been out of action for a while. But since they've been back, they have been red hot. I do have to give them that. So they do have a chance of winning these tag team titles, don't get me wrong, but there's so far been no answer to Omos. It will be interesting to see these two in a tag team matchup, because the Viking Raiders, they have no back down. They're not intimidated at all by Omos. So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles them and how they will handle him in this tag team matchup when it takes place. We also got to see the official split of Elias and Jackson Riker. They went at it one-on-one in this matchup, and it was a matchup where Elias, once again, man, he just walks out the ring. He just, starts to hit to the back, takes the count-out loss. I'm not understanding why this has become Elias like new thing. He's very talented inside and outside of the ring. Jackson Riker in his own right is really talented inside the ring. Can't take that away from him. But at the same time, I feel like a bigger push is made for someone like Elias, or should have been made for someone like Elias. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what they're moving to next, or why they decide to even have Elias take the count out loss to Jackson Riker. So I gotta kind of keep an eye on what's going to happen next. I don't know if this is how they're going to end this feud and just both move on and go their own separate ways. Hurry up and get them out of that tag team situation and just move on to the next situation. Or if they're going to try to drag this out, but it's not like it's a feud that I think will keep people locked or interested in it. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Elias and Jackson Riker moving forward. In another matchup that kind of had me, I'm a little twisted and conflicted about, right? We got to see Jeff Hardy go against Cedric Alexander. Now, Cedric Alexander for weeks has been going against Shelton Benjamin, week after week after week after week. So it was great to see him in a new matchup. Jeff Hardy, he's the ultimate babyface, right? I'm thinking in my mind that Cedric Alexander, he's newly single after being out the tag team. He's a heel. All he needs now is a little bit more push. And who would be better to help push, keep that momentum going, and really get him over and put him over than by, getting a victory over someone like Jeff Hardy, the ultimate babyface to me, like the king of charisma, right? So I'm not understanding why, Jeff Hardy was the one that went over in this matchup. I mean, it was a perfect opportunity to put somebody else over, but unless him and Jeff Hardy are going to start their own little feud, which I honestly don't really want to see. I'd rather see Cedric Alexander feud with someone like, Ricochet or something like that. I think that would make for a much better matchup. So if we're going to get a feud between Hardy and Cedric Alexander. I'm hoping that it's so Cedric can actually come out on top and get some momentum going and get a big win over someone like Jeff Hardy that can propel him up the ranking system into the next level of competition. And another matchup that had me a little, confused about, it was Mansoor versus Drew Gulak, right? Now, before the match, Ali, he stopped Mansoor and said, hey, you got to watch out for Drew Gulak. He likes to cheat. He'll try to do something, and you have to be ready for it. You have to be prepared for it. Now, Ali has been stopping him backstage nonstop since this guy has appeared on Monday Night Raw. Now, in the matchup, we actually did see Gulak try to hold the tights when he did a roll-up pin, and Mansoor kicking out and eventually getting the victory. My thing is this, like, when did Drew Gulak, start down this path? Are we seeing a situation where Ali and Drew Gulak may actually be in cahoots and trying to get Mansoor on their side, like possibly a new fashion? Because Drew Gulak, he's Mr. Wrestling. Like, it's no reason for him to even, attempt to get a victory like that, especially not against Mansoor, who is being considered the rookie right now on Monday Night Raw. I wouldn't think that Drew Gulak would have went that direction if it doesn't mean something inside of a deeper story. So I'm definitely keeping my eye on that because I'm a fan of Gulak. I like him inside the ring. He just needs the right situation to actually help him, get where he needs to be at. When him and Daniel Bryan had their feud, I think that was the right situation where if you was going to push Drew Gulak, he was going to get that win over Daniel Bryan and then move on to become a champion. So he needs another situation like that. This week, we also seen the unusual pairing, the unlikely pairing of Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley going against Nikki Cross and a partner of her choosing. Now, Nikki Cross will eventually find Asuka to be her partner for the night, and these two would manage to get the win over Charlotte Flair and the champion Rhea Ripley. Throughout the match, Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, they fought the whole matchup. They brawled, they argued. It was the perfect oil and water combination. These two did not mix at all. And their only common denominator in this tag team matchup is they both wanted to get their hands and try to redeem a loss against Nikki Cross, which ultimately didn't even play out like they wanted it to. Charlotte Flair ended up hitting the natural selection on Rhea Ripley, which allowed the team of Asuka and Nikki Cross to get the win. Now, I will have to say this. We have to pay attention to Nikki Cross and what she's doing. Since she came back, in 3 weeks, she has defeated Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. Now, that's your number one contender, and that's your champion. Are we seeing the situation where they're trying to push Nikki Cross? The only issue being she haven't beaten neither of these women by a pinfall in a singles matchup yet. So if you do push her, and she does end up in a one-on-one women's championship match, she's going to have to pin the champion. She's going to have to, submit the champion to win that championship title. And I don't quite see that happening. Are we running into a situation where we are running out of women on that Raw roster to actually push? Are we running into a situation where the brand split isn't what's best for business right now? Look how many wrestlers, especially of the talent level, that we would love to see inside the ring has been released in the past couple of months from WWE. I think we're running into a situation where the brand split needs to end and they need to just go back to one main roster. Now, I've been saving this matchup. This was my matchup of the night. So I kind of put it towards the end. It was Ricochet versus Humberto. Now, though this match ended up in a double disqualification, these two took it to the limit. Like, these two shut Monday Night Raw down for me. That was my favorite matchup. The action, the intensity. These two didn't slow down the whole match. Now, Sheamus was at ringside. Of course, he's the United States champion, and both men seem to have their eye on that title and have the eye on Sheamus. So I think we may be going into a triple threat type situation where these three will all lock it up at SummerSlam for that title. But I will have to say, I wouldn't mind seeing that title in neither one of these three men. Humberto, to me, someone who all he needed is just more time inside the ring. Even when he was with Rey Mysterio and that whole Seth Rollins feud, he was showing the promise. He showed exactly what he could do when he's given the opportunity. And I think this guy's going to be one of the bright future stars if they continue to use him and push him in the WWE for years to come. Now, on to our main event, and what I believe is even more storyline advancement. We got Kofi Kingston versus Matt Riddle. Now, before the match, MVP went up to Kofi and pretty much accused him of allowing Kofi Mania to die. So that leads me to believe that, hey, Bobby Lashley may be able to get past Drew McIntyre at this Hell in a Cell, and we possibly get Bobby Lashley and Kofi Kingston at SummerSlam, a matchup that I would not mind. Also, what that leads me to believe in this matchup, by Kofi Kingston actually defeating Matt Riddle, as he should, and keeping that momentum going as a singles competitor, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods and the whole New Day situation, they're no longer focused on tag team gold. I think they're back to focusing on their singles career, even though they're still a group and looking out for one another. I think it's time for Kofi to go for that world title again, and I think it's time for Xavier to actually step up and try to go after some gold himself. Now, during the matchup, Kofi Kingston did manage to pick up the win, but Randy Orton made his mark felt, I would say that, by trying to put Xavier Woods through the table, gave him a back suplex onto the table, didn't break or anything like that. But point being, but he did that in the middle of the match for no other reason but he's just Randy Orton and the Viper seen a good time to strike, and he struck. Now that leads me to believe we could possibly get a matchup between Xavier Woods and Randy Orton. Now we get this, and Xavier Woods can defeat Randy Orton. That boosts Xavier Woods to the heights where I feel like he can walk in and challenge Sheamus. He could walk in and challenge Bobby Lashley right after he defeats Kofi Kingston, if he defeats Kofi Kingston. But it puts him on that level of, hey, I can hang with these top guys. Also after the match, Randy Orton kind of just left shaking his head after he seen Matt Riddle lose. So could we be seeing the end of RK Bro? Could that be why RK Bro and the New Day were not winners in that tag team battle royal early in the night? To me, man, this is storyline advancement. This is time where we get to speculate and see and say what we think is going to happen. So I can definitely see something like Kofi Kingston and Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam. I would be excited about that match. I think they had a really good match on Monday Night Raw, so I think it would be an even better match under the big lights. I feel like they both shine when they're under the big lights. But that was pretty much Monday Night Raw. That's everything that really took place, outside of the fact that Shayna Baszler did show up as a guest on Alexa Bliss's Playground. Now, as we know, the former tag team champions lost their titles because of this mysterious flames here popping up, just distractions throughout their matchups. And of course, everyone speculated it was because of Alexa Bliss, or Lily, I guess we should say. Well, we didn't know who she was actually targeting. Now I can say with confidence that she was trying to target Shayna Baszler, and that made itself ever so clear. Shayna Baszler sent down the Lily doll, stomped it, called it just a stupid doll. And we seen Alexa Bliss and Shayna Baszler actually brawl for a little bit until Alexa Bliss pretty much got thrown out the ring, made her way back in the ring to recover Lily, and then we seen the flames happen again, more intense than it ever happened before, which actually led Baszler running into the back, trying to find a way to get away from all these fallen objects. It was pretty cool. It was kind of like a creepy, scary movie scene or something like that. No one was around. It felt like the arena was actually empty. Eventually, Shayna Baszler would lock herself in the locker room, but she finds the Lily doll that she could see in the reflection. Couldn't see her on the wall, but just seen her in the reflection hanging on the wall. She breaks the mirror, and of course that little piece of mirror that was left is showed Baszler reflection and Lily. So I think we're going to move on to a situation where I don't know if Baszler and Alexa Bliss are going to actually get it on in a wrestling match. I don't know if Bliss is trying to bring Baszler to the dark side or what. I don't know exactly how it's going to end up shaping out, but this is a pretty cool storyline. We finally get to see Alexa Bliss in a real storyline with someone other than Nikki Cross and The Fiend. So I'm just going to sit back and watch where this one goes. But I do have to wonder if this is the end of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler as a tag team. And so, like I said before, I don't see a tag team that's going to be able to stop Tamina and Natalya. I'm just saying that, just throwing it out there one more time. So, What do you guys think about this episode of Monday Night Raw? To me personally, it just solidifies two things. One, the brand split needs to end. Two, we need a TV title because guys like Ricochet, Umberto, Gulak, Mansoor, Ali, these guys, Alexander, hell, Jeff Hardy, people love to see him night in and night out, right? Guys like this should be having more of an incentive to go after and fight for something other than just random feuds. Hell, even Elias. I would love to see Elias in a TV title, wearing the TV title. I'm sorry. I would love to see something like that. So I think it's time that, hey, we should introduce the TV title to WWE. I'm not too interested in the European title. I feel like that title really didn't hold weight, but I feel like a TV title is something you can build prestige around, especially putting it on like someone like Jeff Hardy as your first champion, or Matt Riddle or something like that as your first champion, and give them a pretty decent run. Or hell, even Elias, and let him just, cheat his way and use the time limit to hold on to it, because when he finally loses that, it's going to boost that baby face, it's going to propel him to a crazy height. So I think something like that will really help Monday Night Raw and SmackDown just become even better, because it's a lot of feuds going on like Shinsuke and Corbin that just really doesn't make sense and doesn't really matter to me. So now these feuds can actually matter a little bit more. If we get these titles all back on one show, the world title and universal title, they can combine back into one. The Intercontinental title, the US title, and if you add that TV title plus your tag team titles, I mean, that's 5 titles that guys can go after. Add back in your King of the Ring. Let that mean something. The Royal Rumble is still there. You still have the Andre, the Giant Battle Royal. So that's something still there as well. Let that mean something. Let that equal a title opportunity, even if it's not the world title. Let it equal something. So that's all I'm saying. I think the brand split needs to go back to regular. I think the roster need to go back to regular. This was a much longer episode than I normally do for Monday Night Raw, but hey, it was a lot to talk about, a lot of storyline advancing, and finally some new matchups. So I can't be too mad. But that's about it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section or the DM. What did you like about Monday Night Raw? What don't you like? And more importantly, Hell in a Cell, Drew McIntyre, if he lose, never will get a world title shot again from Bobby Lashley. But Bobby has to face Drew inside of the Hell in the Cell. Let me know what you guys think about that. That is the main thing going right now. If Drew McIntyre loses, I don't know where Drew McIntyre goes if he's not chasing world title gold. He may have to just disappear from Monday Night Raw and go to SmackDown, and him and Roman Reigns can battle it out for that Universal title or something like that. It's going to be interesting to see how they want to go with this world title picture moving forward. I'm leaning and thinking we're going to get Bobby Lashley and Kofi Kingston at SummerSlam. So that means I think Bobby's going to win. I don't know where Drew will go after that. Maybe they'll, injure him, put him on the shelf for a little bit, and he'll return just in time for the Monday Night Raw and SmackDown draft and be drafted to a different brand. So we'll have to see what goes on. That's all I got. That does it for me. If you haven't already, please hit that like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and make sure you're following at The Wrestling Replay on Instagram. I am thinking of my next contest, my next giveaway, what I want to give away, whether it be merch, whether it be cash. It's going to be something good, and you don't want to miss it. But the only place you will be able to find it is at The Wrestling Replay on Instagram. All right? So I'm CATO. I am signing out. Peace.